Hello, and welcome to the ProjectWise Administrator Advanced Accreditation course on the iModel Composition Server for PDF. In this lesson, you will learn how to create an output destination rendition in the source file folder for the use in the iModel Composition Server. Creating an output destination rendition in the source file folder will allow users to apply their plotting standards to selected files at plot time when using the iModel Composition Server and provide convenience to administrators when creating plotting standards. During this lesson, you will learn how to create an output destination rendition in the source file folder. An output destination rendition in the source file folder allows you to define where ProjectWise will create newly generated renditions and also decide where distributed source files will be stored. With an output destination rendition for the source file folder, you will define where the output of the job will be stored, whether or not to create a new version if the file name is not unique in the destination folder, whether or not to map attribution from the source documents in the input set to the new rendition document, or to the copies of the source documents that get stored in the destination folder, and whether or not to distribute the source documents in the input set. In this exercise, you will define an output destination rendition in the source file folder. If we log into your ProjectWise administrator, let's go into the renditions object and click the greater than symbol, and we will go down to rendition profile components and expand the component list and select the output destination folders. Right click on the output destination folder and select new destination. This will give us an output destination folder dialog, and we would choose the source file folder option when creating our renditions. This simply means wherever the source file resides, the actual PDF will be generated in the same location. So for the naming convention for this output destination folder, we will call it source file folder. You have the options here to choose on whether to overwrite existing PDFs, meaning every time you produce a new PDF, you will overwrite any existing PDF of the same name, or we could choose to create a new version of that file, meaning if rb.pdf already exists, you will have a secondary version generated from that option. For now, for this exercise, let's choose overwrite. We also provide the option to delete existing duplicate files and versions when appropriate. This setting should not be on by default. The only reason you use this particular feature is if you are printing simultaneous versions at the same time. For example, if I plot version A, B, C, D, and E of source files, and something happens to perhaps version C, and you only end up with A, B, D, and E as a result. This option gives us the opportunity to go back on the next print rendition cycle and erase versions A and B, D and E because C does not exist, and give us another opportunity to produce all 5 versions. But as a reminder, this should not be enabled by default. The destination folder also gives us the ability to copy version names. This gives us the opportunity to copy the version string from the source file onto the corresponding PDF that is generated, and that feature is on by default. You can disable it if you so choose. And you also have the ability to copy a workflow state, meaning if the file is present on the source file, it can also be provided to the existing PDF, being mindful that the workflow state must be present on that folder in question where the new PDF will be present. Let's take this opportunity to click the Attribute Mapping button. This will allow us to map any attribution that is found in the environments on the source documents. That information will be added to the newly generated PDFs found in ProjectWise. So to choose your attribute mapping, you can start with the radio buttons on the source attributes and click Document, and click the destination attributes and click the Document radio button as well, and choose Auto Map or Add, and that will give you the description for the original file that is being printed as a PDF. Next, you can select the environment radio button for the source attributes and the environment radio button for the destination attributes, and then choose the appropriate environment for your attribute mapping. In this case, we will use the My Company Rendition attributes for both the source and destination environments. Hit Auto Map, and this will automatically map each attribute between the source and destination files. One thing to keep in mind when it comes to environments is to keep in mind that when you're using a document code, they can cause issues when mapping attribution for the ICS for PDF product because of update triggers. So it is not uncommon for people to have to use a cloned environment of the source environment. And that cloned environment would remove the document code as an example. It looks just like the original, however, it does not have the document code involved, and thus it's free to receive information since the ICS product is sort of feeding that environment constantly, the new PDFs and the source file attribution information. With that, you can click OK to finish with the attribute mapping, and click OK again to create the output destination component. This concludes the lesson on creating an output destination rendition in the source file folder. Let's review what we've learned. You've learned how to create an output destination rendition in the source file folder. The next video will provide techniques on how to define output destinations for a specified folder when printing with the iModel composition server. Thank you.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.